Alright, today I'd like to show you guys how to create this file for a pen holder. Again, once we get finished with this, we are going to take it out into the shop and use the bandsaws and the sanders and that to further shape this, but this is going to be the blank size that we're going to start with. So before we get to this point, we need to start with the block, and I'm going to show you how to do that right from the beginning. So let me close this. Actually, we'll close the whole thing out so I can show you everything from the beginning. First, we're going to go to VCarve Pro and open this, and you guys are going to create a new file. Once your page opens up, you're going to see a white square, and if you haven't drawn anything before, your sizes are going to be different than what I have. What you're going to want to do is make sure that the width, okay, our x-axis is at 6.0 inches. The height is at 4.5 inches, and the thickness is 0.75 inches. Okay, again, make sure inches is selected. Make sure that material surface is selected. For our XY datum position, leave it at the center for right now, and then you're going to click OK. This white square is going to represent the pen holder block that you're going to start with. In here, we want to make sure that we get a post-it note area carved, and we also want to make sure that we've got a paperclip area carved also. To start with, we're going to begin with that post-it note holder. So click on Draw Rectangle, and you should see this menu appear. Alright? Don't worry so much about the anchor point and all that stuff. Instead, for right now, just kind of come over onto that white rectangle that you've got. Click and drag out a square. So click and hold, drag your cursor out, and you should see a box that appears with white dashed lines. Over here now under size is telling you how big that rectangle is. Right here under the width, our x-axis, I want to change that dimension to 2.1. Okay, our post-it notes are 2 inches wide, and if we add that 1/10 of an inch, it should give us a little bit of space for wiggle room. And then our height, the y-axis, I want to change this to 1.6 inches. Again, those are 1.5 inches high. And if we add again that 1/10 of an inch, should give us a little bit of wiggle room. Now we're going to hit apply. Okay, you should see that the rectangle changes its shape to meet what I've typed in here. Now you can hit close. To move that piece around, we've got our transform mode button right here that we can move this around. If you grab by the center square here, I can move this and get it lined up with the center of lines and get it placed where I would like to be. Okay, for right now, you can place it wherever you like. Just make sure that you have some space around the edges. Okay, once you're done with that, hit escape on the keyboard so it deselects it. See how it's a black line instead of that dashed pink line? Now we want to be able to get our fingers down into this too. So there's two ways we can do that. One is with just the regular draw circle tool. And again, don't worry so much about the numbers here for right now. Just come over here and move until you see how my cursor changed here from following the line to this, which means I'm in the center. If I click and hold, I can draw a circle out and make it whichever size I want. Here it's going to show me my diameter size. I could make this 0.5, so it's a 1/2 inch diameter. Maybe you want to make it a little bit bigger. Maybe put in a 0.75. Apply. Okay, whatever looks like it's going to feel right. Okay, well, that's one way. Next step for this is to trim parts away. So we're going to go here to the trim tool, I'm going to click on the half circle that's inside of the rectangle, then click on this line that goes through the middle of the circle. It should leave me with a finger tab that I can fit into here to pull out the post-its as I start to use more of them. Okay, maybe you don't want to have the half circle, and I can show you a way that we can do that as well. I'm going to go back a couple steps, and then instead of using the circle, we can use the draw ellipse. Okay, and again, sort of the same thing that I was saying before. Move until you get to the center. Okay, and now, if I drag this straight down, my ellipse is going to be kind of funky. It's going to be hard to get my fingers into there. I could drag it out this way. Okay, and the further down I take it, the more round it's going to be. Closer I go to my center point again, the wider it's going to be. So if that looks good to you, or whatever you have drawn, you can let it go. And then hit close, and just like we did before, we're going to trim this part, and then leave that finger hold. Alright, so that's how we draw the post-it note portion. Next thing we need to do is draw the paperclip portion. For that, we're going to go back to our rectangle tool, and we're just going to draw out a rectangle. Okay, this rectangle is going to have a width, okay, moving along my x-axis, of 1.25, and my height is going to be 0.75. Okay, so 1 1/4 by 3/4, hit apply, and then I can close this. And then to kind of finish this out and make it look nice, we're going to go to draw a circle, and I'm going to go to the center here. I'm going to click and hold and drag down to this edge. I can do the same thing right over here. Close, back to my trim tool, trim out those inside arcs, and these lines right here, so it kind of leaves that ellipse shape. Now, maybe I don't like the placement of these. To move them, I have to use this move tool. These other two aren't going to work quite so well for you. This is the one to use to move things around. Again, my suggestion is to move from the center node, so that way if you want to put things in line, I can do that by moving my cursor back and forth till I find the center point. Once I find the center point, I can move my piece around, place it where I'd like to. If you notice, I'm not putting these right close to the edge, because I want to have a little bit of space where I can cut and shape this and make it more than just a square. The final thing I want to show you guys here before we end this video and then work with the toolpath videos next is how to add text. So we just go to the Draw Text tool, and up here we're going to type in something. I would suggest your name, or if you're going to be giving this to somebody else, maybe you're going to put in their name. Once you type in what you're going to carve here, you can drop the menu down and find whatever text style you want. Okay, text style is up to you. However, the one thing I'm going to tell you is that if you have something that's thinner, okay, like this text right here is awfully thin, it's not going to engrave very deep. And if it doesn't engrave very deep, it might be hard to see. The bolder the text is, the easier it's going to be for you to see. Okay, so find a text that you like. Again, I'd suggest bold. Hit apply, and it's going to show you what the text is going to look like right on the piece. You may have to move and adjust. That's okay. You can do that a couple different ways. One, you can try to change the text height in here. What gets to be tricky is it's hard to tell what it's going to look like or how it's going to fit when you just adjust the numbers. So what you may want to do is put the text on, close, and then go back to that move tool. Okay, so one, I can move this out over to the side. I can adjust this. Okay, make it bigger, smaller. If I want to stretch it out, I can do that stuff. If I grab onto these black nodes, I can move this at an angle. Okay, and I would be able to do the same thing with these other parts too. Okay, I just want to make sure that I don't run into something else. Alright, this should give me plenty of room where I can put in a pen holder, or maybe over here, or over here. But once I have this just as I would like it, I'm going to go to File, and then Save As. If you just hit Save, it's going to try to save it under New. Well, that works, but as we work with this more, it might save over something you don't want to lose. Just like we did our other drawings, make sure that you go under your login name, home directory H. Alright? Then, instead of being new, save it under your name and pen holder. Okay, I already have one of these because I was practicing before, so I'll call this pen holder 2. And then hit save. Alright, the next video I'll show you guys how we can set up the tool paths to cut these out. Thank you much.